Alrighty. All right. Let's do it. All right, Kris, this is fantastic. So you chose 3 crown cards. Which crown cards did you choose and why?
Yeah. Do you want me to start off in
preparation?
Yeah. Preparation. So I embrace the process. And it is because it is definitely just a mantra of mine. It says, as I have lived my life and become an older man, I see that process and development, for one, is intoxicating to me, like everywhere.
What do you mean?
In every sense, I see development. So, on every level, it's what I'm part of. I'm a coach of a gym, and we develop humans physically, not only physically, but mentally as well. I believe in a God who develops us, and I'm a father who raises children. I'm an older man who talks with a lot of younger dudes, and just being a part of their process. So process is part of development. And so I embrace the process. And probably the hardest thing ever done in my life, I just had to open my hands and say, Lord, I need to trust you with the process of my life. The things that I'm in right now that is a mess that I can't see a way out of, and trusting that you will be able to lead me like Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says.
Oh, amen. What about the performance one? I need more.
Wow. I am qualified for success. Yeah, man, these are going to go long, brother.
Let's go.
So this resonates with me because the last time I taught at the church, God just gave me this picture. It was so real to me, and it was just like I usually need a couple sentences. I need a couple of sentences when I'm teaching, and if those sentences are clear enough, I can preach for 10 hours, even if I'm in the gym, do you know what I mean? Like just clarity, because then I get to reinforce. And one of the things that this means I am qualified for success is, so that's on a spiritual church, human level. Like I would say that most people who believe in God believe, like they'll look up at the heavens, they'll look up at the stars, they will look up the sky, they will look into, like we can go the other way and look at small things and like biology.
Yeah.
And they understand that God is this incredibly creative being. And they don't have a problem looking up into the heavens and being like, God made the universe, right? I'm talking about like church people.
Yes.
But I would say that high 90s, maybe even 99% of the people, we have such a problem believing that he is willing to take his creativeness, his almighty showing off creativeness, and laser sighting it on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, nah, like he can heal, but he can't heal me. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can develop, but he can't develop me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like it's a tragedy for us to watch, but I know it. And I have this great person that I just absolutely love, and she was expressing that to me once. She said, she can pray for anybody. And she said, I love to pray for people. I know that God will do something great in their lives, but I have such a hard time believing he'll do it for me. Yeah. And I'm like, she's not alone.
Yeah.
We break it down.
Absolutely.
And I mean, our churches are full of that.
Yeah.
We believe in this great God, but we have such a hard time of him taking all of that, harness all that power and saying, this is for you too. Yeah. You are qualified.
Yeah.
So
understanding that, like, it's hard to fathom that omnipotent, omnipresent God will be imminent and present with little us.
Totally. Yeah.
Wow. What about your recovery? Oh, spectacular. My goodness.
Well, this one's tied to all of it. I tried to, there were so many. You have great cards there. I was like, how am I going to pick all these?
Appreciate that.
But I chose this one because it's tied to the other ones. It is, I win even when I lose. So just winning and losing, and this is something we're going to get into today, I think.
Yes.
Because winning and losing, it must be unpacked. It has to be. If you just leave it at success and not success, you'll find yourself in the sickness of what I believe is in most of the world.
Yeah. What's the sickness?
The sickness is I'm valuable if I win, and if I lose, I am not valuable. And so, but that's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's inside of a CrossFit gym. Yeah. When somebody's like, I just PR'd, and the other person's like, I missed mine by 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, okay, we gotta, like, what is this? And so the idea of being able to win even when I lose is part of development.
Yes.
There is more losses in life as far as, like, let's just take competition, right?
Yes.
Like, there's just more losses than there are wins. So how do you unpack that? And I think it's over the years, it's been so helpful for me, and I see it all over Scripture. It's something I believe deeply in with the Lord, who I believe is discipling us.
Yes.
And to embrace the process, right? Like he's developing us, and the part of the process, right? Like part of my process is dealing with a loss, so to speak. And I mean, and then that word, like, we can stretch that word in 5 directions, right?
Yes.
So, like, it can be loss on the field.
Yes.
But it can be loss of friendship. It could be loss of stature. It could be loss of loved one.
Yes.
Like, there's that, like, does that make sense? Like, that stretches a lot. Like, the word lose.
Yeah.
It's a deep bucket.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but so is win.
Yes. Oh, it's great. What came to mind was how Jesus said you have to lose your lower life to gain your higher life. And, like, it's, those who are last will be first. Like, it's a dichotomy with, like, this age when it comes to, like, performance or just achievement, because here it means I need to be seen, but Jesus said, like blessed are the poor in heart. Like, it's like it's lower. You go lower to go higher, and that's completely contradictory to, like, the fleshly design that we have. It's this is great. So, let me just we already in it. We already in it.
I like it when every once in a while you bark.
Hey, let's go. Oh, man. All right, y'all. Here we go. Here is Kris Germaine. He is a dedicated husband, amazing father, and a great entrepreneur and creator and founder of CrossFit 310, a CrossFit gym in Redondo Beach. I've been there. Another one I had on my podcast, Jacob Hall. He goes there. He's a coach there as well. But here is the architect, the designer, the leader of that house. So everybody give it up for him. It's great to have him. Let's go. Yes.
Thank you.
Spectacular.
Thanks for the introduction, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So it's as you can already tell, he has very profound thoughts about winning and losing. So let's just get into it. You started there. So how do you define winning?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, I think that can be stretched in so many different ways. So sure. I'm not sure. So I guess my default would be like, as I'm trying to unpack that word. And so like, listen, this is a spiritual podcast. You know, you are somebody, we're not shying away from Bible talk.
Not at all.
And so for me, as I try to understand that, because the world is saying this is good, this is win, losses, you know what I mean? Like for everything. Yeah. They're defining it all the time for us. We're taking it in all the time. Yeah. And so just for me, the most profound teacher that I've ever heard speak in my entire life, I cannot help but go back again and again, is Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And so I try to understand win and loss through his words. And he uses other people in the Bible. He uses the whole of the Bible to let me unpack that. Yes. But man, I sure like going to the man himself for sure. So I don't forsake the scripture, and I'm all over it. But I best understand Paul when I understand who Jesus was. I'm actually more sympathetic with Paul when I understand who Jesus is. So anyway, my ideas on win and loss have so much to do with what you already talked about, like the upside downness of how Jesus reframed everything. He got in so much trouble because he reframed everything. Yeah. They killed him for reframing everything. But he was daring, he was rebellious, and he loved people so much. And, you know, you talk about being seen. You said that like just a little bit ago. You and Matt Reezy talked about that a lot, right?
Yes.
I wanted to jump through the mic and come in and be like, hey, I would like to, hey, man, I'm Kris. I'm on what? This is nice. What do you guys got going on?
That's great. That's great.
But listen,
oh man,
there was something about that man, right? The God man here when like people felt seen by him. And so they were willing to accept, because they didn't have the benefit that we had. Like we get to go we know the ending.
Yes.
Well, like we know where the bullseye is. We know what the beginning looked like. They had no context of that. Can you imagine how hard that was? So anyway, relationship with him, with the one who sees you, helps me start unpacking that. And I just go to like the Sermon on the Mount when he just starts turning everything upside down. Everything. And a lot of it for me has to do with burden.
What do you mean?
Well, in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus is addressing existence, identity, good, bad, religious, like who's valuable, who's honored. And he just starts turning it upside down. And just like you had already brought up, like humility is such a thread line through it. But as he is talking, I just hear him continually upsetting what we once thought was the win. So like winning is awesome. It is it's so much fun. It is so much fun to win, and good things come with it. Just good things come with it. But there's also a burden that comes with the world's idea of winning.
What's that burden?
That burden is, well, what happens if I don't win? What does that mean? What happens if I'm not perceived as successful? What happens if I'm not perceived? What if I lose my stature? You know, what is stature? And Jesus is going through that one after another after another. He's doing it from a religious standpoint, because the winners were the leaders of the church. I mean, they win. They're wealthy. They get the seat at the front of the table. They're head of the table. When they walk by, people are like, whoa, there they are. Yeah. But Jesus starts taking everything away. He starts turning it all upside down. He says, if you want to sit at the head of the table and you want men to praise you, well, there you go. You got your reward. So in my idea of winning and losing, implicit in like how he talks, I'm like, listen, I want the win that God says is the win. I don't want the man win where somebody's like, "You're awesome," and I'm all, "That feels so good,
so amazing,"
and then it's done. And then it's done. Do you know what I mean? Like, you may get that.
Yeah.
People are like, "Wow, Kris, great prayer. That you're so holy," or whatever it might be. Jesus is like, "There you go. You got it. There's your win." But he says, if you're willing to not sit at the head of the table, he says, don't go there. And then he says, well, I'm going to remove somebody from the head of the table, and at the right time, I'm going to put you there, or the possibility of it, right? He's using the metaphor of that. But that's what I want. And I don't exactly know what that is. That's where mystery comes into a lot of this, because from my flesh and bones, I'm like, this does not look like I'm winning. Do you know what I mean? And that's hard, but that's another thing. That's what faith is. Like, for me to not understand, I'm like, Lord, this doesn't feel like I'm winning. It doesn't look like I'm winning. And the world sure doesn't, isn't talking to me like I'm winning right now. But, God sure is interested in letting that tension be there, let that mystery be there. So, that was a super long answer, but I don't know.
Profound.
That was what I got to get Cliff Notes for that one.
I got something from what you're saying. So much. It's this phrase that Jesus was a rebel to the times who reframed at that time, the modern paradigm of what it meant to be winning, successful, and was rebuked for it by the people of the time. And I think that's that through line, the alliteration. I love it. I love pastors and everything. But, like the call that he gives us on this earth, we're going to be sent into areas and places where we will be perceived as rebellious because there's an established way of doing something, and the Lord sends us there to show a new way. And that has people perceive us as rebellious, and the reason they perceive us as rebellious is because we were reframing their comfort, like what brings them comfort. And because of that, we're reframing what brings them comfort, or what brings them status. Is because of that we are then rebuked. Because the Lord Jesus also talked about, we're going to be suffering for his sake as well. And that is, and it goes into this one thing that I'm seeing in terms of how you're describing how the world misses winning and how Jesus gets it right, is that who you are is what you do. You're nothing more than what you accomplish. You're nothing less than how you felt. That's where the culture gets it wrong. And it's, you are good if you do good. You're not good if you don't do good. And then they define good as tangible things. Okay, I have this amount of money in my bank account. I just got this trophy. I accomplished this thing that I wanted to do. But when you don't, it's like, okay, those temporary moments that you don't, you have, are great, full of joy, but the reality is it's a constant search for that, because you don't feel full, you don't feel fulfilled unless you have something that you have accomplished and you have the praise. And so it's a constant void, and that is where Jesus is like, nope, you are who you are regardless of anything. Yeah,
dude, this is where we can start.
Yes.
This is where we can start. So we started at this meta, super meta of win and loss.
Yes.
But what if we just shrunk that down into a CrossFit gym?
Let's do it.
All right. Mm-hmm. We'll just take the world. And in my CrossFit gym, there are no Bible verses on the walls. Mm-hmm. There's none on t-shirts. We don't start with a prayer or anything. Mm-hmm. My hope is that our interaction would feel differently. And they'd be like, what is different about this place? The unwritten, invisible brand of my place is grace. And I want them, even somebody who does not have that language, but they would feel it.
Yes.
They don't need to. It's just love. Do you know what I mean? It's just boom, there. Yes. And when they come into it, they might feel it. But to go directly to what you just said, what I want to try to do, one of the plagues of owning a CrossFit gym is competitors and dynamic athletes are super exciting And so like they're fun to watch and spend time with and develop.
Yeah.
And then new people are dangerous because they might get hurt at any time. Yeah. And so there's this middle ground of people. There's this whole wide middle ground that they're like, okay, they're not going to get, they're not going to kill themselves. So a lot of times they don't get coached. They don't get like, they don't get a lot of touches. Yeah. And one of my goals is to just let everybody in the place know that it does not matter. Like we are going to absolutely, like we cheer for first muscle ups. Yeah. We love it when people are all cut up and athletic looking. That's awesome. And we love deadlift PRs, and we're going to cheer. We're going to celebrate that. But I try to let them know your existence in this place, your value in this place is not predicated upon any of those things. It's just that like if you were in my gym, I already know what I would tell you right now. Do you know what is so awesome about you? I'm like, I haven't even seen you move. You could have terrible movement patterns. You look muscular. You look like you could do something. But listen, I'd be like, do you know what? Like, I would tell you right away, do you know what you're going to bring to this place? You're going to bring joy. Amen. Me and you have already laughed 7 times today. And not like through our noses, like opening up our mouths like we've had guffaws already. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like that, I would just start laying that down.
Yeah.
We are going to absolutely celebrate your successes, but that is not what makes you important to our class. I would be like, hey, you with your joy, like, please go talk to that person who can barely make eye contact with anybody. Just tell them, hey, I'm glad you're here. And all of a sudden, that's what we try to hold up. Does that make sense? Like, because a room like that is one that you want to go back to. If everybody's kind of getting a sense of that, and it doesn't happen all the time for sure. But you try. And with enough people feeling like that and enough people knowing that it's not their PRs that make this journey valuable, then all of a sudden they're okay with like, man, I've got an injury. I need to scale this whole thing. Like we got Murph coming up. We can talk like, what's Murph look like?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I got people that don't want to come in at all because they're like, well, I can't do it like I could last year. And I'm like, oh, well, we're missing the whole we're missing the purpose of getting together and celebrating somebody who gave their life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're not going to come celebrate because you might, I'm not going to do Murph RX. I tweaked my calf, unfortunate event. And I'm like, I'm going to have to scale this thing. But I'm already talking to 4 different people and we're like, hey, we're going to go there and just be together with the family. Amen. That's going to honor Michael Murphy. That will honor Memorial Day and our time together. You know, like that's where big wins come. And in my book, man, I've been talking for a long time. Let me tie this down.
Yeah, this is great.
But being an old guy in CrossFit lets you understand that the fantastic rise of personal development, personal physical development, it's pretty awesome. But I got people that have been here for 16 years with me. Do you know what I mean? And some of them, man, I got a couple people and they're better than ever. But a lot of times it's like up and down. Do you know what I mean? Like it can't be like your greatest PR in the deadlift. It's going to be there. It's just temporary. Yeah. So then, well, if that's true, then what's the win? If that's true for everybody, then what is the win? What are we doing? It can't be just for the max efforts. It cannot be for the fastest time in this thing. And so as you watch people and have seen human development just absolutely skyrocket through the vehicle of CrossFit, and you're just like, whoa, what was that? And what are we now? And where are we? So it's a profound existence to say, what's a win? What's a lose? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, like, what is a win? I'm like I said, I'm exploring this with you as well. I give an example of like I do a class or a workshop called Embracing Your Competitive Nature, And the first thing we do is get into misconceptions about competition, what it means to be competitive.
Yeah.
One of them is competition is about always coming in first. That's a misconception. And I give the scenario. The scenario is two racers. Racer number one wins the race, but finishes 1 second below his personal best, or 1 second slower than his personal best. Race number two loses, but finishes 1 second above his personal best. Can you say that race number two was a failure? You can't, because he accomplished something he did his best in it. He did something that he had never done before. And so I use that to help people understand that winning and losing, or success and failure, is not about it's not a comparison to what anybody else is doing. Yeah. It's about something personal that you have set in your heart to do, and you do it. And sometimes it's like, okay, sometimes in a CrossFit workout, I'd be like, okay, we're doing this EMOM. Okay, I feel I can get this many reps, and I don't. I realize in the middle, I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that again.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like at the end of it, for me, it's about, okay, like the adjustment and the pivoting of it is still a successful thing, because I didn't tap out. I still showed up and I endured that process. And that to me is the win. Cause like, it's like, I'm never looking at somebody else like I can do more than them. Or I can run faster than them. I'm more like, okay, this workout can be, say we have it's a 25-minute workout. I want to get it done in 23. That's for me what it is. Like, I want to get it done in 23, and I'm pushing towards that. If I'm first, I'm first. If I'm not, I'm not.
Right.
And it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. I actually want people to see, like, even while I'm dead tired, I'm running past people. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah. Like, let's do it. And so I don't like the world's definition. That's something I'm really like passionate about as well, because the world has misused the purpose of competition. And like, when I was starting this out, I'm like, all right, Lord, if this is something good, it has to be reflected in you. And I was like, okay, at that point, I had to find a competitor in three different characteristics. The first one was someone that's inspired by challenges. Next one is someone that hates to lose, but I love to win. We can get in that. I know that. And the next one is someone that finds victory in defeat. Then I'm like, all right, Lord, all right, if this is good, then it has to be reflected in you. All right, Jesus, you existed in heaven, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, but you saw that across time and humanity that there was no one worthy who could be a perfect sacrificial lamb. So you were inspired. Okay, you became that. You saw the challenge of it. You became it, and that's what you did. That was your call. You were born as the Savior of the world, and because you're born as the Savior of the world, it was yours to lose. And you see Satan trying to take it away from him in the garden many times, 3 times. And so, okay, Lord, you already inspired by challenges. And Jesus, he was who he already was, and it was his to lose. So he didn't have anything to gain. He had to retain what he already had. And it was like that was his perfection, the way he walked it out righteously. And then, okay, you find victory in defeat, and he rose from the dead. And like, we serve a living God. And at that point, especially in the process of it, crucifixion was the most humiliating, devastating, excruciating, and painful way to be killed. And you resurrected out of that. Okay, you find victory in defeat, and what people think is defeat. So I'm all right, cool. So that's how I want to approach what it means to be competitive. Is those things, but even deeper than that, it's like I want people to know that, to start where Jesus started. Honestly, it's like, and Jesus, like, it was what it was. Like, he didn't deny who he was. He stood in it, and he wasn't striving to attain anything. He knew what he already had. And I want people to approach life like that, approach different competitions they're going to be in with that, and know that, it's not necessarily about me versus this person. It's about the process, and in that process, like, we're going to be competing against other people, and I believe that that's because, like, other people show us the best out of ourselves, shows us what's possible. And so even that, it's like, if I'm going against somebody, I'm playing chess or something like that, someone makes a great move, I'm not like, dang it, like, let's go. I'm like, oh, bro, that was incredible. That was spectacular. All right, because now it's like, it's bringing the best out of me.
Yeah.
And that's what this whole thing is about for me, is people growing.
Yeah, I think as we have talked about that, and to bring the listener into our conversation, I had to call you, or we had to talk, and I had to tell you that The title of the podcast is the exact opposite of what I teach humans. I literally use the phrase, I think it's a mistake to teach people to hate losing more than love winning.
Man, why?
I think, and I don't, so
it's great.
we have, I think clearly, like, we're not at odds.
No,
do you know what I mean? But
no.
it does take some digging to get underneath, and that's good. That's valuable. Yeah. But I think accidentally that was instilled in me when I was young, including me watching like Michael Jordan and loving Michael Jordan, right? Like that's how that dude talked. Right? Like that's how all my like basketball heroes talk. That's how all my like sport heroes were talking, is how much you hate losing. And what I thought was happening was I was becoming passionate about sport and passionate about, I really cared. But what I realized later in life, as I stopped I stopped my high school career, I stopped my college experience, and I realized that went with me. It was anger that was behind that, and I think it does a lot of disservice if you just leave those words where they are, because winning is joy. And I would love, like, if I had a group of young men. You know what? My son's soccer team got into this position where they were up. I think they were up by 2 or 3 goals. And the other team was good. And they came back. These are young boys. They're like 11, 12 years old. Yeah. Or 10 to 12 years old. But you could see what happens, right? Like it's fourth quarter. It's the end of the second half in soccer, right? And the team's coming back. It tied it up. Like, and what happens, like, you freeze. Like, that's what you do. Fear starts taking you over. And then when fear takes over, you start acting weird. And then you lose a lot, you know, it happens a lot. Yeah. And that's when people are like, how could they have choked? But I wanted to gather those young dudes, and I wanted to say, to take the fear of the way, because already the fear of win-loss was there. And that's exactly what happens. But I wanted to gather them, and I wanted to be like, boys, you're in the most exciting moment in sports right now. Winning is a blast. It will be so fun if you walk off this field victorious. We will have a blast. The sidelines will erupt. What are we going to do to try to go get that, instead of being afraid of the loss and what that might say about us and hating that so much? I wanted to pivot the joy that was right in front of them, because it was exciting for both sides. Do you know what I mean? The drama is what makes it exciting. Yeah. And so for them to recognize, you're in the moment. Let's go try to get it. You don't win them all. Well, what if we can tonight? Like, let's go get it. And that's what I wanted to say, but I'm a weird dad on the sideline. So I was like, okay, coach, what are you going to say?
That's great.
They did win, which was awesome. That's great. Nobody gave them a speech like that. And so they got a good win. And then on the next game, they got trounced. But
the process.
But that was just like an example of my desire is to reframe your idea, because again, loss carries so much. I think when we were talking, and maybe you've said it I listened to a couple of podcasts, but people remember their losses. Yeah, I think you were talking about that. Why? And what does that mean? And should it be that way? Because what is the joy that God has in front of us if we're plagued by the losses? Do you know what I mean? And so that's, I don't know. I think for me, for And man, I understand. I really do. I played a lot of sports, but I'm just like, man, I don't know if it should be that way. You know, that you're like, oh, I won the Super Bowl, but I can't get that loss out of my head. I remember more about that than I do about the win. I'm like, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's framed right is what I mean. Not like, does that make sense?
Yeah. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's great. I appreciate you.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So that's the thing that we talked about, how like Jesus like reframed, like came in and reframed different things. And I feel like that's what I want to do, like with the term hate to lose, and reframe people's mindsets about it, which is like, which is that we're already born winners, and it is ours to keep, not ours to get.
Why are we already born winners?
Well, because I feel like people that you spoke about it, people that show up, like you've already taken the first step. But also too, I truly believe that everyone's made in the image of God. Yeah. And so that within itself is like, okay, I don't serve a losing God. Like my God has never lost. And so because we're made in the image, I feel like everybody that I encounter, I see them as a winner. And because of that, it's not necessarily it's about starting from a position of victory, not necessarily striving to go get it. And I feel like that the joy that happens when it comes to winning is when our true identity is affirmed by the results. That's why I feel like when that joy happens is that, oh man, like I know that I'm a winner. And this entire situation affirms that, but through the effort and through the sacrifice that I've made, it's like, okay, that's great. That's a great joyous affirmation. So like, I ask myself this as well. It's like, why do I hate losing so much? And it's because like I approach things like I expect to win, because that's who I am. I know I'm a winner. I expect to win. I expect to win in what I do. I expect to be excellent. And winning doesn't mean beating somebody else. It doesn't mean coming in first. Like, it doesn't mean like, it means, okay, I want this. I want to get this score. I want to do this. Like, that's what, or it's like, okay, I just want to do my best and see where everything lands. And so when I get that, I'm like, wow, like I feel so great when it's like, oh man, like I accomplished something that I didn't even know that I could. Like, I feel fantastic. And then on the other side, it's like, yo, like I lost. Like what happened? Like this doesn't reflect who I am. And so I've heard a lot of times where like it's.
Let me just interrupt you really quick, because and again, we gotta. This is where we gotta parse language out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think you said. Oh shoot, I'm gonna lose it. But you said the results of the competition affirms who you are.
What we believe about ourselves, yeah.
Oh, say that
again?
What
we believe about ourselves.
What you believe about ourselves. So if you lose, what does that mean then?
Yeah, I mean, like that's also, and
so if you lose in competition, like let's say me and you, because I can tell, like I hear how you're talking about, like we were talking before we record. And you were talking about like the good in trash talk. Yeah. But you don't trash talk the way that people trash talk, right? So I'm like, if I know you, if I'm in a relationship with you, I will understand that. Does that make sense? Yeah. But let's say there's two dudes who are friends who are going up against each other, right? But it means something, right? It's not just like one wins and one loses. If I lose, then based on what you just said, what does that affirm about how I think about myself?
I think it shows an area that we can grow. That's why I really feel like it is, or where we are in a process. And so, like, out of this is like the fact that we are winning. We are winners. That's who we are, and the fact that I want to really also separate the way, like, Jesus did, want to separate who we are from what we do, is that our identity isn't tied to any outcome. Like, that doesn't change. Our identity is secure. And whether somebody believes in Christ or not, like, I approach them in that way. It's like, okay, you are a winner, and who you are isn't determined based on what you do. Like, I think that for me, a win is giving it everything I have and letting the chips fall where they may. And it's okay, if what the result says is good, okay, great. If it's not, then I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, like I reflect. I'm like, okay, so like what happened? Like what do I need to grow? I think ultimately that's how I approach things in general. Is more of like, I love competition because it's a way for me to grow and learn about myself.
Yeah.
It's like, and not about who I am, but more so, like what, but more so where I am. Like, it's not who I am, but where I am. It's like, oh, you're a great chess player. Oh, I want to play you. I want to see where I am. Like, I want to see where I am. Okay. Oh man, like you love to play, 3-point shooting and stuff like that. Oh, let's do it. Like, I want to see where I am, because I feel like it's a great way to grow and to continue, like to expand from a process focused standpoint. But when it comes to hating to lose, I just think that for me, I can, like, and I thought about this too. I'm like, okay, why do people who are like the most competitive people, and we can get into that as well. I actually do want to talk about like the most competitive people, the Kobe's, the Jordans, even like LeBron and even like just Tiger Woods, like people who are these insane, diabolical, competitors. Yeah. Like, why is it that? But it's not even just them, but it's also like, you'd be like Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes, who believe in Christ and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it is because as a winner, like, when you go into a competition, you expect to win, you prepare to win. And when you win, it's what you expected, because I am a winner, therefore I expect to win in what I'm doing. And when you lose, it's not expected. It feels like something that was yours was stolen away from you, and which is why it feels like losing feels so painful when you do it, because you didn't expect to lose, but you expected to win. And the fact that losing was unexpected, it feels like something was literally like stolen away from you. And that's that grief, that sorrow that is present. And that's why I'm like, okay, like hate to lose is like, okay. Like, I think when it comes to the world's definition of winning, it's a lot about, okay, what do you have to gain? Or what do you have to lose? But what you have to, like, Christ didn't have anything to gain in the garden. Like, he had it already. Like, he was who he was already. And that was his to lose, which is what Satan was trying to do, opening up doors. Okay, like, make this stone become bread. Oh, like, call your angels. Throw it in
the desert.
Yeah. And wouldn't call angels. Throw yourself down. Bow down here and worship me. Like, no, just like it's written. And so that's how I approach it. And so I want to get into it. So, like, what ideas do you hold around hate to lose? Like, what does that mean? How do you define that?
Yeah. So again, I would take hate to lose more than love to win would be a fear-based position for me. That's what I want to reframe.
Yeah.
Because if you hate to lose more than you love to win, you are operating from, well, what if that thing gets taken from me? What does it mean if I'm in the loss column rather than the win column? And I think, like, even like, we're talking about like, here's another thing. I mean, this is just, it's what I want to do because I'm an older man. Mm-hmm. And what on earth am I here on this planet for if I'm not looking back and breaking things down and helping other humans navigate some of this stuff, specifically young men and some young women, right? But like, we're talking about sport.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the greatest of all time in sport and what they were willing to do and become.
Yeah.
To be the greatest. This is going to sound terrible to the athletes. I'm so sorry. But who cares? What does that matter if you are the greatest? And let's find out all those who are the greatest. Let's go, like, I don't know how we would do this, but we can probably go out and how's their home life after their sport was done? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because their identity was win. So, well, what does that look like in the home? What happens to their bodies after they stop playing football? We know some of that data.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to win so bad that you will put your life in jeopardy. You want to succeed in that realm so much. that you are willing to not connect deeply with the men that you're going to war with, and you may punch them in the face in practice, but you'll be called the greatest of all time. But I'll tell you what, my hero, Michael Jordan, I'm so sorry if you love Michael Jordan, because he was my hero. I memorized the Jordan videotapes, the VHS ones. You're probably too young to know what that is. VHS, I put it in, and oh man, I know all that. I'll have to draw a picture of that for you. But listen, it's in his, like, it wasn't, I'm watching this guy and I'm like, oh, I want to be everything like him. But I watched the documentary that came out.
Last Dance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be anything like him. He lost hero status with me.
Why?
Because he had no joy. Because the men that he went to battle with were like, he's the greatest competitor of all time, but I hated being with him. What a loss. Me and you right now, I listened to you talk. If you don't know, this dude loves what he's doing right now.
Yes.
We're talking before we push record, and you're recounting conversations with people that you had, and you did that thing where you like bark and then laugh, right? But that conversation.
Yeah.
Like, it meant so much to you. You, in one conversation, sitting on a couch and a couple of microphones, you crossed into a mysterious DNA crossover with a human. And that is the win on this planet. And the Bible says so.
What do you mean?
That's what you're here for. Like, Jesus left the planet with fallible humans. I'm always like, he had to, like I love that Jesus was like, I only do what my Father tells me to do. I only say what my Father tells me to. He was humble and dependent on the Father. Can you imagine? Don't you think he just looked at the Father? And by the way, I don't want this to sound sacrilegious. So like anything that I say like this, if God's like, that wasn't how it was at all, I'd be like, no problem. No problem. This is just me processing. Mm-hmm. But don't you think, I think that it might have been possible. He was like, really, Lord? These 12? I'm going to leave, and these 12, they don't understand anything. The little faiths, you know what I mean? Like they didn't understand anything. Yeah. And he was like, but he knew something better was going to come. He knew that he was going to go, and what they were supposed to do was they were supposed to be filled with the Spirit, and they were supposed to connect with humans, and that the gospel would be sent and change the world. And the gospel, the good news of who Jesus was, the good news about a God who is Emmanuel with you and is available to you. And that's supposed to happen on a DNA level, a spiritual level that starts with love and generosity. And man, I love human movement. Yeah, I love sport.
Amen.
I love competition. Yeah. But when it's framed right, because I got a lot of mess in my life. I have a lot of past mess. That's for like 2 other podcasts. But you can't believe the amounts of mistakes that I have made in my life, not having those things in the right frame.
Give me one example. One example of
that. Well, I'll give you a sentence, but because of the idea of win and loss and what happens when people win, I'm pretty interested at all times of making myself look awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to guard against it now as an old man. As a young man, all I could do was look for platforms that I would look awesome at. I was not a good basketball player in high school, so I quit and I went to a really tiny school. I quit every sport because I wanted to make varsity, and I wanted to play. I make varsity, but I sit bench. Finally, my senior year, after I would have eaten a basketball if I could have. I mean, I just inhaled everything. But ultimately, it was all so that I would be raised up and be recognized as, oh, look what he has become. And there was a lot of joy in there too. So it wasn't just all that. Literally the poetry of movement. I was transfixed by it. I loved it, and competition and play. But But I was pretty concerned about making myself look awesome so that other people would tell me, Kris, you are awesome. And
so this brings a question to
yeah.
So I'm just trying to get how you're thinking. So could in that when you're in that scenario, did it feel like you won if the result said you win and nobody gave you that affirmation? Did you feel like you won still? If you accomplished something you set out to accomplish, but no one gave you that recognition? Curious.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because but in your head, for sure, the temptation would be like, I'm pretty awesome. I'm awesome today. You know what I mean? And it's a good day because I won. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it's true. We should celebrate. Yeah. We should. It's just how far do you let that go? Yeah. And the problem is in all of life is when we take good things and we make them ultimate things. That's when we get in big trouble. And so, I gave you a sentence of, Kris kind of being interested in being awesome and elevating himself and people, and that's not, I heard that in Matt Reezy too, right?
Yeah.
I want to be good. I wanted to be this. Yeah. He went into a thing where his identity was being revealed. He's an artist. Yeah. Man, do I know that? Yeah. I spent 7 years in Hollywood. I understand that. The joy of creating, collaborating. Oh, man. But I got in trouble too. Do you know what I mean? He got in some trouble. Yeah. Well, because there's trouble up in Hollywood. Yeah. And so I got in some trouble, Yeah. So it's just that there's trouble everywhere, especially when people, you get in a position where people praise you. Yeah. When you get enough praise, if people treat you like a god, you're going to start acting like a little god. And that it's just trouble. You get into a lot of trouble. And a 51-year-old man talking about being, I was susceptible to that for a long time.
Amen. That's great. And what it sounds like is that so you said that you feel like the term hate to lose is a fear-based approach, fear-based mentality. When you say hate to lose more than you love to win. I understand that. And I think it's, for me, the way that I approach it is a faith-based thing. Here's why. Because I am approaching this from a position of presence and not absence. That I have already won. I have what I need. I am a fulfilled human being. Therefore, I can lay it all out there. I could have the faith to be vulnerable enough to give it everything I have and allow things to be where they are. And when that results in something that I didn't prepare for, I didn't expect, it's like, oh man, what happened? But then also too, it's that you're saying so much.
Sorry.
No, it's great.
It's just go.
No, this is great. It's great. I love the conversation we're having. And I think one of the biggest issues in competition is how it's defined, because how it's defined is it influences, of course, how people walk it out and how it shows up. So how a competition is defined today is multiple people going after the same thing and having to establish superiority over each other. That is, so in the sense, it's okay, if you get it, I don't. We're going after the same thing, and there can only be one winner. One winner is a person that has what's physical. The person that has what's physical is the winner of it, and whoever doesn't is the loser. Whoever wins the battle, whoever wins that, has that mark, is superior. Whoever doesn't have it is inferior. That's not what I believe about competition. I think that's a lower way of competing. And how I define competition, and this is what I also talk about in the workshop, is I define to compete is to internally drive towards a victory hidden in the trial. So that's how
I love that.
That's how I define competition. So you're competing against something that you have determined, or it's a vision that you've been given.
Yeah.
And you are driving towards something that is eternal. It's a vision that you have, and because it's a vision, you're not there yet. You're driving towards something, which means there's going to be a trial to get it because it's valuable. And so it takes away from, okay, I have to beat you, because we're not going after the same thing. It's not possible for us to go after the same thing because God has designed us in individual lanes. It's not possible for me to accomplish something that's somebody else's call. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I can't fulfill Jesus' call. I can't fulfill anybody else's call. That's already fulfilled. And so for me, it's like, no, like we all have our lanes. We all have our own calls, our own identities, and we operate within that. Now, sometimes the Lord crosses things over where the journey that you're on is crossing with the journey that I'm on. We have this encounter right here at the intersection of it, and we get to explore both of our visions and both of our calls together through a competition.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not about, okay, me wanting you to look bad, because I don't feel good when somebody feels bad. Like I'm literally designed on this earth to encourage people. So I don't feel good when somebody feels bad. I don't feel good when somebody's discouraged. If they play me afterwards, like I don't want somebody like, but I will never play this again. I'm like, no, like I actually want you to play again. Like, and like it's that's how I approach it. And that's like, for me, I've broken this thing down like to the core. I'm like I said, I am not here to deceive people. I'm not here to misrepresent anything. I'm just like, yo, okay, Lord, I just know that I genuinely enjoy competition. Yeah. I love it. Like I genuinely, I love it in anything. Like I love to, like I just played bocce for the first time, like a week ago. I'm like, this is spectacular. Yeah. I love it. Like got into chess. Like this is great. And it's, for me, it's like I said, it's always about becoming. It's not about, attaining anything. I don't, and that's the thing too. In an honest way, I'm like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur now. I'm building something. Yeah. And it's like, how I'm struggling to define, like, okay, like to stay focused on the process. Yeah. And be like, okay, like it's not about, okay, if this thing goes viral or not. It's not, I don't think about things going viral, but it's like, okay, you see things, I'm like, okay, these things are growing. Okay, this is growing. Okay, like what goals do I have with this? Because I wanted to reach as many people as possible, because I know something is like, I have something that's good. People can benefit from what the conversations we have on here is. And so for me, it's like, it's definitely like, it's a struggle. And that's something that I've seen that's common in the people that I have had conversations with, is that like, what's the balance between like the drive? What's the balance between the drive and the accomplishment? Yeah. Like, you're driving towards something, you expect to see results increase because of the efforts that you're putting forth, like the sacrifices you're making. You want it to bear fruit, and a lot of times that fruit doesn't look like what we think it's going to look like. Sometimes it is the patience we develop in it, and that's the fruit. Yeah. Sometimes it's the sacrifice, the obedience. Yeah. That's a difficult thing. Difficult thing.
I don't agree. Sorry, I don't disagree with anything that's coming out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. In fact, we are on the same page. Yeah. I think I'm just like, he's just going to need to preach hate to lose hard. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. With the way that you define it, because the world hears it differently. Yeah. And that's it. Thing. There's nothing coming out of your mouth. I'm like, yep. Yeah. So, but I think that's good. Great. And again, like this interaction helps us both. Like I knew we were going to talk about this. I'm like, I better get my words right and understand what I mean by that and stuff like that. So it's good. It sharpens us, right? Yeah. The dialogue is good. And I appreciate like your just willingness to talk through it and parry things back and forth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun.
I enjoy it. Like I said, it's fun. Like I enjoy the process of communication, and like for me ultimately it's like I said, I think like from a purposeful standpoint, like I'm thinking about those, like it's a hook, honestly, too. Mm-hmm. It's like a person that is competitive, whether they approach it in a healthy way or not. Yeah. They're like, oh man, that's the type of person I want. Yeah. It's a person that is like, okay, why is that? It's because I am here to serve, of course, anybody that I encounter, but like those who are we're designed in like in a similar way where it's like, okay, we just love to compete in anything. Like it's because like we want to bring the best out of people.
Yeah.
That's another thing that another principle that the platform is built on is that competition reveals the truth about people, not in the results, but the responses.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like it's the responses to the moment that reveals the truth about us. I actually lost a friendship because of that. Not in a, like in a, oh, I'm cutting you off like type of way. No, this is the scenario of it. Is that me and my then girlfriend, now wife, were at a birthday party.
What's your wife's name?
Sean. South
Shauna?
African. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, Sean. Sean. Shaan.
Cool.
Love you, baby. And we were out playing doubles pool, and me and the partner that I had were on the same team again. And so I'm like, we're not playing well. I'm just like, okay, no, like I gotta lock in. Like I'm not okay with how this is playing out. I can't no. I can't go out like that. And so I'm like, all right, I lock in. I'm like, okay. And I start to hit. And I made like 2 in a row. And then the third one, it was like a really tough trick shot. And so like I do it, like I focus on it. I'm like, okay, do my whole like calculation. I'm looking at it like, and I hit it and I make it. My own partner's first response was, bro, you didn't mean to do that. You didn't mean to do that. You didn't mean to do that, bro. Like, I'm like, bro, like, are we on the same team? Or are we not? And I'm like, oh, okay. That really didn't have my best interest at heart. And I'm like, okay, so not that I started to be mean to him, but it changed the dynamic between us because I didn't know that he would scoff at an accomplishment, even though we were on the same team.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. Oh, so in the same way that it revealed that, it could also reveal, like, there's another moment where it was a tie game. Me and somebody else playing bowling. We're bowling. It was a group thing, but we were the ones that were in front. And it was me and him. Like, I had one shot. Like, we're tied. Our score was tied going into round 10. We had the same exact score. So he goes first. Hits 8 pins, leaves 2. I'm like, okay, I got a shot. He left the door open for me. And like I'm there, and like all the thoughts that you're talking about, the fears, like, okay, like what happens if I lose? What happens? Like, what's my girl gonna think about me? Like, like I can't lose this guy. What is he gonna say? I can't listen to this guy. I can't. I literally was like calmed. I was like, shh, like I'm built for this. I let it go. And I struck. Last thing, I won. And like it also reveals the fact that I was like, okay, I'm worthy of the success that I wanted to achieve. Like, or it could reveal team dynamics. Like especially with basketball. Like I'm a football player, but like especially with basketball, like I'm watching, I'm like a player cannot talk about having great chemistry with the team and you don't play defense. Your defense is not connected. Like, why is that? Because like offense is where the glory is. Like everybody wants to score. It's what people see. But true connection is shown in the sacrifice needed to play defense. And that shows in the connectedness. I'm like, okay. So it's like, I just feel like the competition reveals all these things that people can present what they want to present, what they believe about themselves. Competition reveals the truth. And that's why I love to connect with people in activities.
Yeah.
And okay, it could be a workout. It could be playing chess. It could be, a rock, paper, scissors. It could be like whatever it is. I was like, I enjoy it because I get to learn so much about them. It's a raw moment. We respond no matter what. Like competition, you have to respond to it. And that response it's an indication as to where you are. And I love that. I love to see people where they actually are. And so some people believe that they are less confident than they actually are. They get into the moment and they rise. Mm-hmm. Some people believe that they're more confident than they actually are. They get into the moment and they're crushed.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy that process.
Yeah. In recovery circles, there's a lot of talk about you're going to find out who you are when you get squeezed. Right?
Yeah. What do you mean?
What's really inside?
Yes.
What's really inside?
Yes.
It's important.
Yes.
And because it it doesn't matter what you think is happening to you. You can be like, oh, this is happening to me. This is this can be in faith circles too.
Yeah.
Like, yep, I believe in God. I believe in the grace of God. I believe in the faithfulness of God.
Yeah.
I believe in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 that he makes paths straight if I submit to him.
Yeah.
Well, when you get squeezed, you're gonna find that out. I have told multiple young men, I'm like, well, you're about to watch and see if your older brother is walking the walk, because I'm about to get squeezed, and so pray for me.
Yes.
Because you're gonna find that out, and it's not absent of struggle, but that is what you're saying is good, and that comes with the losses too. I win even when I lose, if how I am when I lose still demonstrates the thing that God's been doing with me. So like, I remember, this is funny, as you've been talking and I've been thinking, my dad died when I was young, 14, 15. But he used to go into he had this like cork board in his office. And I remember I would go in there and I would look at stuff on there. Oh, there's pictures of me. He's got quotes. There's a poem. There's a drawing I made. But then there was this newspaper cut out. And I remember it was a picture of two coaches. And they both had it was after a game. They both had arms around each other, and they were both like open mouth smiling. And one of them was a Villanova coach, I think. I can't remember who the other one was, but the whole point of it is which one won, which one lost. I never talked to my dad about that, but I remember now, even I'm like, wow, God let me like identify that. And I'm like, wow, I wonder, and my assumption is, well, that meant something to my dad that he would cut that out of a newspaper and put it on his corkboard. He was a pretty good racquetball player. I grew up in like a racquetball club because him and my mom, like
really?
they had trophies.
Really?
Oh man. Yeah, closets full of trophies.
Wow.
But I think my dad had to stop because he had to stop playing for a little while because he got too angry on the court. So like, I'm putting these things, but I remember, how funny that I remember that newspaper cut out of those two coaches, and it meant something to him that they were like, somebody snapped a moment picture and you couldn't tell who lost in that moment. It's pretty interesting to me.
Yeah. Came to mind. Should losing hurt?
I think it is not bad for losing to hurt. It's just how do you do it?
What do you mean?
Well, if you lose and you take it out on other people, like I think we both agree, like, nah, it shouldn't hurt like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you feel like, I think sometimes when I see young men after, I love to go to, I'm involved with the youth group at my church, and I like to go watch them play. And sometimes they're important games and stuff. And sometimes you just watch losses. You watch your kids lose games, and they're big games, and they're devastated. Kids are crying. And I think it's okay to be like, oh man, I get it. You should feel all of that. Just feel it, but don't stay there. If you stay there, that's where I think the problem comes in. So like in my whole, like I talk about this a lot, but, oh man, this is another super tangent. But let's just think about Jesus's life. He was a deep feeler.
Yes.
Weeping openly multiple times. Sweating drops of blood. He's so anxious. He tells his friends, there's so much anxiousness, sorrow, I'm close to death. Right? Like, well, was it wrong for him to feel that?
No.
I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
But what happened was he didn't stay there. So John 14:1 is this great verse. It says, don't let your heart be troubled. Don't let your heart be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. This is Jesus talking. I'm teaching my kids at youth group this thing based on Philippians 4, 6, and 7. It's like a prescription for peace. But I draw a lot from John 14:1, because I think the most crucial word in that whole thing says, don't let your heart be troubled. Well, how do you do that? Who can just be like, okay, gone.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
I think the most crucial word in that entire verse is the smallest word in there. Let. Just don't let your heart be troubled. Don't let it take you over. Don't sit in that despair. Don't sit in, like, I was just talked to a young man about temptation, recently. But like, you are going to see things. Your body and your mind are going to feel things. That's not the problem. The problem is as soon as you linger in that, as soon as you linger in that, that's where sin happens.
Yeah.
That's where you start going and sin, right? Like, that's where it goes wrong.
Yeah.
God's like, that's going to end up at not a good place.
Yeah.
And so don't let your heart be troubled. So let them feel the loss. In fact, affirm it.
Yeah.
But don't affirm it in my head. I'm like, don't affirm it of like, you should hate this so much that you're going to do everything you can. It's just like, yes, this stinks. The joy, you want to be, you want to be cutting down that net.
Yeah.
I know how bad it stings to watch that. Feel this. Don't stay there, because you're loved. Yeah. I love you.
Yeah.
We love you. Your teammates love you. Yeah. And this moment is not the thing that defines you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's the relationship between the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Yeah.
Because I believe like in a specific competition, the degree that we can be joyful or the degree that we can hurt it's two equally opposite ends of the spectrum. Meaning that, like, if I don't care much about this, then the loss won't hurt, but the joy won't feel as great.
Yeah. But it's a math equation. It's directly proportionate.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, but if I care deeply about this, the possibility of the joy that I could feel if I accomplish it, or the suffering that I'm going to have when I don't, it's like those two things are in relationship to each other, because that's just what it is.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, why did Jesus go to the cross?
For the joy that was set before him.
Booyah!
For the joy that was set before him.
The joy.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? He experienced, that like, I mean, the gospel. Great. Do you know what I mean? Like, his love for you was the joy. Yeah. You having relationship with him was the joy.
Amen. That's great.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
That is great. So in this, like, I'm just like, man, the mind, what you're saying is so great, and I appreciate just the perspective you have about the perspective of hating to lose. And I was thinking about, I'm like, a lot of the unhealthy perspectives about it is about how it's taught and how it's modeled.
Yes.
Versus like the term about it. It's like, okay, it's like, it's like, okay, if you teach a kid, if like I said, like I love Kobe. Kobe's my favorite athlete of all time. We even actually had experience with him that was like, when I was in it, I was like, oh, okay, like, then I'm just gonna do that. But when I think about it, I'm like, that probably wasn't the best advice to give. But like, it was like I was at USC football, and I had tore my ACL. I got cut from the team, and I was like low, and I get a text from USC Athletics saying Kobe Bryant is going to come to campus to share his documentary. Like, I have a Q&A about the documentary, his documentary Muse.
Whoa.
I'm like, I'm going. I'm there. And mind you, I wasn't on the team, but I'm like, I'm going to go there. If they tell me no, then no. But I'm going to go there. I'm going to give it a shot. And I got in. I was in. And so we had the chance for Q&A, and I just remember being there, like sitting in the stand, like sitting with the football team that I wasn't a part of, and like being like, oh, like these guys didn't even like, we weren't close, like we weren't good, like we weren't like I didn't feel like I was on a team or anything like that, but I'm like, okay, these guys they didn't want me to be successful and where I'm at, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, but this is right now serving for a larger purpose, and our purpose right now is for me to get in conversation with Kobe Bryant. That's all I'm focusing on. That's what I'm doing. So the conversation is watch documentary. The Kobe talks a little bit, and then they open up for Q&A. I'm up. I'm like, I don't care. Like if somebody gonna tell me no, then all right. But I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get as far as I can before somebody tells me no. Yeah. And I got to the mic and I asked him. I'm like, all right, Kobe, like what? When nothing is going right in your life, like where do you find your source of motivation? And he was like, you can find it in anything. You can find it in the wind. You can find it in grass. Like you like but what the main thing you do is like you lose yourself in the work. You go to work, and by the end of it, you you'll realize that okay, this thing is past, and everything like that. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that's what I'm gonna do. Want to make sure that I'm continuing to stay focused on the process. And the reason why I say that it may not have been like a healthy thing is because that made like the work my salvation in that way. It's like it was that okay, I'm gonna find my peace. I'm gonna find my rest in the work of my own hands, the work of my own thing, which means that I couldn't find rest in something that was above me at the time. And but like even that though, like I'm just like I said, Kobe's still my favorite athlete of all time. Like he's just like I was like, man, I miss Kobe. I'm like watching basketball now. I'm like, man, I miss Kobe. Man, this guy's not Kobe. But like I'm just like I just don't think I'm just honest. I'm just like, oh man, like Kobe would never talk like that. Like what is this? But I'm like thinking this that like a lot of just again like how things are modeled. He had some like unhealthy ways about him when it came to competition. But like one thing that we gather is that okay, like you want to. This also too it's kind of a progression as well with Kobe because he like of course early in his career and stuff like that got into trouble, but then also too like his perspective with teammates wasn't right. He I don't know, he didn't punch. I don't know if he punched anybody, but he'll call him out and like really like demean them in terms of like verbally.
You know who his hero was?
Jordan. Yeah. Yeah. So but towards the end of his career, he was really focused on mentorship.
Totally.
And so I'm like it's a progression, and so I'm like it's not modeled the right way, and when it comes to like the older people that and like older meaning whoever's teaching someone below them. Is what I mean by older, not necessarily like age wise. Okay, it could be a 18-year-old teaching a 7-year-old. It could be a 50-year-old teaching a 40-year-old. Like what it means to compete, and I really feel like that's when you look at competition. Crazy when you look at competition from again like from a lack standpoint, a lacking perspective, where it's like oh like I want this kid or whoever I'm coaching to do well because it's going to reflect on me. Then I'm going to instill those principles, those mindsets, those habits that will have somebody achieve something, but sacrifice their humanity at the same time. And if you're sacrificing their humanity, they're just going to replicate it in the competition. And so I'm like, that's where the misunderstanding comes because I'm like, I've had coaches, I have had coaches do that. Like I've been like, but like I think the genuine like part of me is that I love it. I love to compete. Like it's not about anything else. Like I hate losing. Like I hate like I'm like I genuinely it's like okay, but I also love winning as well. Like it's not that I hate losing, but I love winning. It brings me great joy.
Yeah.
It brings me like fantastic joy, and I love to see that. It's even like here, like literally, man. It's amazing. So like I'll share this. So like literally, so I'll be like I'll literally be like I'll eat something. I use a napkin or something like that, and I'll ball it up. I'm like, baby girl, open the trash can. I'm gonna shoot this right here. And if I miss it, I'm going back and getting it. Yeah. I'm doing it until I make it. When I make it, I'm like let's go.
Have you seen that commercial?
What?
You got to search out. There's a commercial there. Like, why do we throw balled up paper into trash
Kobe.
cans? No, you got to find it. It's like, because it's worth it, like joy. It's joy. It's like, I just saw that. I've only seen it once, but
great.
like that. Yeah, like why
thing.
do we do that? It's because the joy and the joy is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
and I know where you stand. I know where you stand on this. So I had somebody on the podcast. I sent it to you actually. It was Daryl. Daryl was on the podcast, and Daryl was a spectacular guy.
The martial arts guy.
Yeah, martial arts. Yeah,
I listened to some of it.
Yeah, he's great. And one thing we got into was that like how like it was indirectly this, but it's we got into a conversation of how like he was constantly in positions where people were more developed and skilled than he was. So like in martial arts, he like going for a black belt with people that are 30, 20 years old when he was like 14, 15 years old. And because he'll get beat down. Yeah. And then going to wrestling, people who were wrestled for their whole life, and he got into a weight class that was higher than his weight class. Yeah. And he was losing a lot. And he got like, and I'm like, but like that's why it's so important for us not to define ourselves by the result. Yeah. Because if you were to look at the result, he would have said like, he's a loser because he was losing, not realizing that like the people that he's going with are far advanced, which means that like, you're literally at a spectacular, like you're doing something that's really amazing. But even though the results, like the process is great, but even though the results aren't what you want them to be. And it's like, there's not a lot of that being taught. It's like, it's idolized for people to push somebody else down or to hype themselves up. And to me, I don't also say this as well. In competition, confidence shows up as focus and insecurity shows up as comparison. And
wait, say that one more time.
I say in competition, confidence shows up as focus and insecurity as comparison. Okay. Here's why. Because I go back to when I was bowling. And that started off with the way I approached it was like, okay, I just want to enjoy winning with my girl. That's what I was just about joy. I was like, okay, I want to lose. I want to win, but like I was like, I want to enjoy it with her because she's more like a much more mellow. Like she's passionate, yeah. But she's like, okay, let's all enjoy this. This is all all that, you know. And so I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I enjoy this with her. It's the biggest thing, main focus. And so we're doing it, and I strike, and then other guy strikes, and then he's like talking to me, and he's like, hey bro, like, oh yeah, are you gonna like, he's like, he was winning at that point. He's like, hey bro, like, catch up. Every time I went up, catch up. Hey, like it's not gonna do good. I was like, okay. My mindset shifted. I'm like, okay, like nothing else matters to me now at this point. Like I'm focused on what I'm doing. I wasn't focused on beating him. I was focused on winning. It was like I was focused on, I had my eye on the prize, and it was like, okay, I am, every single time I went up there, it was like I was doing I was doing the best I could, but like it was a different level. And I'm like, with him, like the tighter the moment got, the more he was talking, and the more he felt like he had to tear me down to feel like there's a equality there when it comes to like ability. Yeah. That's what I go into. And it's like, I see that often where it's like, people that, a lot of people who, again, like trash talk and go out of line. It's like, you feel like it's an insecurity to feel like you have to get somebody else off their game to beat them. It means you're not confident in your own ability if you feel like you have to do that. Yeah. Me personally, I want people to be everything they can be, honestly. Like I want people to be great. I want people to perform when we're competing. And if they win, okay, like that's I'm happy for them. I'm also pain because I lost. But if I win, I'm also like, great job. Like that was great. Yeah. And
I believe that.
And so it's like it's a real I just think it's a lot of misunderstanding and like misapplication of it. Because I'm like, there's competition, maybe not like competitions in the Bible talk about running your race. It talks about like stuff like that. And it's like, okay, you run to win the prize. Like you don't like Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also being reframed.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So like
Yes.
I couldn't, what I hear you talking about definitely is everything that is in me. And I knew when we talked on the phone, I'm like, okay, we're definitely have a difference in language and how we approach this.
Yeah.
But what I hear you saying is for sure that the world's understanding of winning and losing, valuable and not valuable, is corrupted. And that understanding it in its proper place needs to be taught and it needs to be modeled. And there's nothing in the world that I want to do more than that. I'm going to reference Daryl. Is that his name? I'm going to reference that because one thing he mentions, it's just so interesting because a lot of this is, again, path.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he had a moment when he was talking about trying out for the wrestling team, and on day one, they're like, go run 5 miles.
Yeah.
Because they wanted a type of person to win on that team. And all I could think of was all these people who couldn't do that thing that day, but they needed to be taught. They needed to be led, and who potentially could have been great if they would have been given an opportunity that wasn't impossible for them. And saying, if you can't do this, then you're not worthy of being on this team. In my gym, I adore people when they come in and they don't know how to move. And it's clear, like we have this whole thing of how we bring people in, and I'll be able to see, like the first thing I do in my on-ramp is hysterical. It does not sound like CrossFit. We do some footwork out in the hall, and I ask people to skip.
Amen.
And the reason why is because, they're going to go through this footwork. So while they're going through the footwork, I'm going to do like what trainers call a talk test. And if they're talking to me openly while we're doing all this footwork, I'm like, oh, okay, they're in some conditioning shape. But if they're like, answering questions, I'm going to know I already know that I'm probably going to have to scale some things in the workout, right?
Yeah.
But skipping. If I have people and they go through and they can do karaoke, they can do high skips, side slides, like all that stuff. Yeah. They know how to skip. Well, I'm like, okay, they're athletic. Then I start asking them athlete questions. Yeah. Do you play any sports? What's that like? But you know how many people I've had to teach to skip? So the very first thing, they're like weird. They're like, and I'm like, but it's the moment. I'm like, because I get to tell them, I'm like, hey, you know what? Do you know how many people I've had to teach skip? Don't worry. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take a step. I want you to do a single leg hop. Take another step, right? And you're going to go slow. And when you feel it, if it's there, then we do it. If they don't get it, I get to tell them, hey, this is the perfect example of what I want to do with this gym. You don't need to know how to do anything. We'll teach you everything. And we have this thing called strength and skill where there's like 15, 20 minutes to practice. You don't have to know how to do it. You get time to practice this thing. And over time, as you get it, it's going to make more sense. But I'm lucky that way. I don't need to win any championships. I get to tell people all the time, like, hey, there's no championship here. There's no first string or second string. If you want to learn to do something great and you're willing to practice enough, I'm pretty sure you're going to learn how to do this thing. And to tell people, to get the lucky enough moment to tell people that they're like, I never played a sport in my life. I'm like, you know what? You didn't play any sports, but what's clear is you probably just didn't have a coach to pull you aside and teach you something, because you could have done something. I see you move right now. You have pull-ups, you have push-ups, you know how to snatch. You're doing all this thing, and all we needed to do is set the stage for you to practice, and look what you can do. You're being athletic. You have a double under. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so all I could think of was all those kids that couldn't run 5 miles. You know what I mean? And but they may have. What if they just needed some time to get their conditioning set, and they would have embraced the teaching and the technique? And what if there was some gems inside of there, but on day one, they were like, nope, you can't run 5 miles. I'm going to weed you out. And so Daryl had a great moment in that. It made sense to him, and he progressed on that team. And so I want to be careful. I don't want to tear down. But in my head, when I was listening to that, I'm like, man, I wonder if there was a kid that could have been there if he was given a different beginning inside of that and said, hey, what if we raise him up? So I want to be really careful. I do not know Daryl. And so I don't want to take away, because that was a gem of his story, because he actually found out about himself.
Yeah.
So those things can simultaneously exist. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Something that is hard for somebody and they become something else.
Yeah. But I also want to acknowledge that you are unique as a coach. And so you see things differently, and you have a biblical like view of like in the heart to view things that like you're looking at the one versus the 99, you know?
No, dude.
Like,
do not make me cry.
I'm just saying it like it is. Telling it like it is.
I won't get very far if we go there.
Talking about how it is.
I love your layups. Those are beautiful.
Yeah. like I'm saying that's different because most people won't see that, but you did, and that speaks to the heart you have, which is why, you know, you've been blessed, you know, of course, as an entrepreneur, having your own gym and doing what you're doing. And so like I think it's knowing that, and like you literally, okay, you are a coach, and it's like, okay, this is the type of coach that people really need, because it's like what happens when someone sacrifices like the person for the accomplishment, or people for the accomplishment, and that's what happens. It's like, oh, okay, so we have this standard, and I don't believe standards are bad, but like we have it's like that's what I want to get into as well. It's like, okay, so the team that Daryl was on had won championships, and I'm pretty sure they didn't win championships in their entire existence. So they understood the process and what it took to get to that point. And from that point, they were informed and learned that, okay, like this is a process we have for continued and sustained success. And so, like, I guess my question is like, okay, so like, when there is a standard, how do you actually approach, okay, like a standard to like for accomplishment, and like, so like, yeah, so how do you approach that? Yeah.
Your light went out.
Good. Your light went on.
So, well, the funny thing is I am actually huge on standards. Specifically in the gym.
Yeah.
I've had people leave my gym. This is terrible. I feel terrible about it, and I know how to navigate it differently. But I just know what the standards will do and why we do them. So like, one of my favorite things about CrossFit is they have standards for a rep, and they're like, this rep counts, this rep doesn't count. But there's a philosophy behind it. It's not arbitrary. And so when people come into my gym, I'm like, we make a big deal about good looking reps, ugly reps, and what that looks like. But I tell them, and I'm eager to tell them, like when we do our push-ups, we go all the way down and we touch our chest on the ground. And it's not your chin. It's not right, because this is flexible, right? It's not close.
Yeah.
But here's what I get to tell them. One of the reasons why, like early on, it's about the score, so that there's a standard, and so somebody knows how to win and lose. I've abandoned that, but the standards are very important to me, because at the bottom of a push-up is where the shoulder's greatest physical expression is. The most range of motion that you can generate from a push-up. I tell people, I'm going to teach you how to do a push-ups like this, and I want it, even if you have to go slower to do it. I want to teach you to be dead tired in Murph, out of your mind, tired, want this over, but your chest is still going to touch and your core will remain tight. Even if you have to take a break for 30 seconds so that it looks like that. And the reason why is because I'm going to teach them that you can hardwire your body to behave in a way. Right? This is what we're going to do if we're talking about shooting a jumper, right? You're talking about you want to be tired and out of your mind, but you can have a follow away because you have practiced that follow through so many times, right? It's hardwired. By that time, it's hardwired into you.
Yeah.
But I'll tell somebody, I'm going to teach you how to do a push-up like this because I'm thinking ahead. I'm going to teach your body to generate strength at the shoulder's greatest expression because someday what you may want is a muscle up. And your tissues will already be ready to begin that deeper catch on the rings or on the bar, okay? And so I'm going to start adapting their tissues, and I'm going to have them go all the way down and all the way up because it's healthy for that shoulder to go through that. If we start going through a shortened expression, you're going to lose range of motion. You don't want to lose range of motion. So I talk about standards all the time. My people, I mean, it's ad nauseum. Like they don't, like they're like, here he goes, Dad's talking again about what's important. But the reason I have people squat below parallel is because for the same reason. If you lose range of motion, you won't get it back. Like if you stop doing range of motion, it's going to be gone. You use it or lose it. If you press like this and you can't get that shoulder to press straight to the ceiling without your rib cage popping out, like you're going to be in trouble if you start trying to clean and jerk 190 pounds. So very early on, I'm trying to solve efficiency problems with you because who cares if I got one of my coaches is like, man, he really wants to get to 225 on his clean and jerk. And shoulder mobility was a big deal for him in the years past. But who cares if Ian gets 225 if at 230, 240, he tears his labrum and he loses all of that. Does that make sense? Yeah. So standards are huge for me. It's just why. What's the purpose of them? And so like when you're on a team and you're like, we got to go win games and championships and my job is on the line, I understand. It's just unfortunate, you know, especially from like a high school perspective. Like if you're that good, there's going to be a lot of diamonds in the rough that just didn't get the opportunity to go there. And so it's just a little heartbreaking for me, but so I don't want to take away from that. Like coaches have to win games, you know, unless you're like, I went to a really small school. So you got to, I mean, if you wanted to play, you could play. you may watch during the games. Like I watched a lot of basketball, but my point is that it's, you know, there's more opportunity there. But if you're at a big school, like, my son would not be able to just walk on at Redondo Union right now, you know, and play basketball, like, or soccer. Like they're big school. They're really good. So that's a different scenario. Am I making sense here?
Yeah, great sense. And what I hear is that it's like the context determines how much patience you can have with someone.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. In
terms of like patience in the sense of that, like, okay, there is a finite amount of time that, let's say, Daryl's wrestling team had to prepare. Yes. But what if there isn't a finite amount of time? You're allowed, because there's a finite amount of time, you have less patience because you need to see results quicker. But if you're outside of that context, you can have you're more patient with the process or the person. And I was thinking about like it's a contextual thing.
It is contextual. So that's just the first thing that I thought of. But like you said, if they're going for championships, right? And so like, I get it, but it's the thing. Me and like, I'm coaching a guy. I have a guy that drives, I think he drives 90 miles to get to my gym. We don't train every week. The reason he comes and he trains for me every once in a while is because he has some serious performance trauma. His experience with his coaches so he was an athlete and he could perform. And so they just drove, right? Because they're supposed to. Like if you're, especially in college, if you're in college, your story is that. You got an injury and so they're going to put another horse in because we have to perform. So you have, it's in there too. You got it lingering in there somewhere too. It's probably a wound, but I got a guy that comes to me because, when we started training, I just, I gotta be careful. Like, I won't mention names, but, I just started articulating. I said, he just told me what he wanted to do, told me he liked our place. And, when I said, hey, I just want you to know that he's a believer. And so I said, like, listen, your body is a healing machine. Like the body's response to blood flow, heart rate up, exercise, like it starts pumping feel-good chemicals in you. The way to heal injuries is actually, it uses blood flow and oxygen and hormones. The body does that. So I'm like, there's a way for you to exist in a place. And because he was aware that there's PRs and numbers and competition. And I said, I just want you to know that there's a good chance that God had me be a terrible CrossFit athlete, like the most mediocre CrossFit athletes ever, so that I could tell you, because I had to process all that. I mean, I never did a competition. You look at all my numbers, you'd be hard pressed to find another coach who's worse at CrossFit than I am. But I had to be like, Lord, who am I in this? And I said, it could be that part of my own process is so that I can look at you and preach, look at you in the eye and say, we just need movement. We need the poetry of movement and the ability to increase, not performance. And your value isn't performance. Your value is that you were created and you can run. You can squat, you can push up, like you can do all these things. What's it feel like to just live in the joy of movement when there are millions of people who would kill for that? Does that make sense? Yeah. And this dude just dropped his head and started crying. And I mean? I like, it is like, so when we get together, that's how we're talking. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, and it's necessary because of his context. Yeah. It's necessary, but my own context feeds into that. Like God has me for this, and I don't know how long or how much, but we've had, we speak to each other and we know that when we'll be together, when he walks in, I said, hey, how cool is this? You just stepped into this place. And do you know what happens when somebody sees you and says, hey, I'm glad you're here? Do you know that the body dumps dopamine in you with just that? It's already started. The body healing has already started. Now, if we get your heart rate up and some blood flow and we get some muscular endurance going, even more will come. That's a blast. Like, how fun is that? Yeah. So that's my moment of like, when you were describing your conversation, you're like, how cool is that conversation? That's my moment inside of the gym when you get to stuff like that. And other people will be like, what is he talking about? But that guy knows. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, for sure, it's a wound in terms of like, for me, that like, okay, getting cut, because that's a direct thing. It's like, okay, I'm only as valuable as my physical ability.
Yeah, the integrity of your tendon.
The integrity of the tendon.
It was like, I mean, like
that's
how did you get through that?
It was devastating. It was devastating. Like it was devastating on so many levels. And I actually had like a theological like encounter out of that, because I'm like, okay, I was actually going to quit football in high school because I wasn't getting recruited as I wanted to. I feel like I should. I had broke records of people that are in the NFL. I'm like, okay, like I can do this. Let's go. And I really felt the Lord say, like, you're going to the NFL. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, this means that reframe my whole context. This means, dang, imagine somebody from my circumstance getting into the NFL. That means he's writing a great and fantastic story. So then I get that fight to make the USC team, doing well. They're having meetings about me, and I tear my ACL third weekend. and devastation. I'm like, I go walk into my apartment, and I literally, like, spiritually, physically, literally see like 2 paths. I'm like, Lord, like, this is when I was much less mature in my faith, but like, Lord, like, what reason do I have to follow you right now? Like, you said that I'm going to the NFL. I experienced this because of, like, I was here because you told me to do this. And I'm like, okay, so do that way and just go completely, like, off the rails. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, okay, I've come too far to, like, give up now. I just feel like I've been quitting. And so I stayed, and, like, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna endure this. So honestly, like, I immediately started by thinking about, one, I thought about Kobe. I was like, okay, if Kobe can make 2 free throws on torn Achilles, I can walk all day on a torn ACL. So I did. And at the end of the day, I needed to get knee filled up with fluid and everything like that. But then it was like I started to try to find, like, the small wins of, like, all right, so I would ask, like, the other athletes who had ACL surgeries of, like, how long did you stay up after they gave you anesthesia? Like, what number did you get to? They're going to count down from 20. Oh, what number did you get to?
Wait, you were competing to your unconsciousness?
Yes. Yes. I was like, so you got. He's like, I think I got 12. I got 12. Okay, I'm gonna try to get to 1. All right, let's go.
That's super
and so,
funny.
So it's legit. That's what happened. I knew he did it. But then, like, so then it was like, okay, so I rehabbed. Finished rehabbing myself, and then I made the team again after rehabbing. Got injured again, got cut again, and then got to pro day, and then that's when the Lord was saying, like, it is finished. So I'm like, all right, like, it was like, yo, like, I didn't want to experience all this stuff in the first place. The only reason why I stayed was because I feel like I literally had a word from the Lord Himself, like, that I'm going to go to the NFL. I'm like, all right, how do I reconcile this? Okay, Lord, you're not a guy, you're not a man that you should lie. So then what happened? I'm not in the NFL. He's like, you are going to go to the NFL, but not as a player. And I'm like, dang. Okay, so then fast forward to now, like, I'm like, okay, like, what way, like, what form is that going to take? Like, what's that going to look like? Okay, so then I went to school for, like, sports broadcast. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I also worked on NFL projects, so, like, hypothetically, it could be done already. But my wife gets a vision. She's like, Christian, I just saw you, like, literally, like coaching and encouraging somebody at an NFL game, and when they're having a tough moment, like, in the game with performance and, like, their mentality with, like, crown cards. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And it's like, so for me, it's like, I can look back on it now and realize that, okay, like, definitely I was devastated too, because I felt like, you know, my identity was completely intertwined with, like, my physical ability. But it's just that you can't control when you get injured or not. Yeah. Nobody chooses to get injured. I mean, it's kind of a debate now, because you got, like, players and players, like, okay, go on the injury list and getting traded and then being able to play the next day. But nobody chooses to get injured. Like, you don't do that. But so, like, it's yeah, that one for sure is a huge thing. It's like, still to this day, like, not because of that moment, but just, like, I still have to be like, okay, that it's tough, because I'm like, how do I give everything I have to something I'm doing, and then, like, at the same time, it's like you're separating. It's like, okay, I know I can do this, so I want to do it. Okay, but I know I can do this, and then I don't. So then, do I know that I can do it? It's a constant, like, reflection on that. And so it's like, but I know that you know, who I am is not what I do. And my identity does transcend like, outcomes and everything like that. I think that's just, it needs to be coaching. We need more Krises, you know. Literally, we need more Krises out here.
You know, well, I'm hearing the same thing, you know, from you. That's what I was thinking, and it's the idea of, again, teaching and modeling. And I think, you know, like, one of the great gifts of a coach, and we'll just take it in my space, but it's any coaches, is the days, how many moments you get, because it doesn't matter if you have one awesome sentence. Honestly, like, what I understand, because as I look back on my life, I can't remember most of the things my coaches said. It was their faithfulness day after day after day after day that was imprinted on me. And so the coaches are so lucky. I try to tell my coaches, try to tell Jacob for sure. I mean, that guy is what the spirit in that dude,
yes.
right? Everything.
Incredible guy.
But he is very interested in a deep connection and a walk with people, day in and day out. And honestly, it's in invisible spaces. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that was one of your cards. I almost grabbed that card because it's that. It's that. You know, you mentioned when you were talking to Matt Reezy.
Reezy.
You mentioned David. Like, we all look up to David so much, right? And that dude's got mess. I understand. But we look up to him so much. But it was the invisible days when he was alone with his Lord. Do you know what I mean? I mean, meditating.
Yeah.
He writes Psalm 27.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I ask, the thing I seek most. Oh my gosh, is to live in the house of the Lord. You know, all the days of my life.
Yes. But
like that's what, so that's how he became who he was, invisibly. And then like David's a hard one because like he kills Goliath, right? But I really struggle with that story and how we process that story.
How? It's interesting.
Because that story is not about David.
Who's the story about?
It's about God.
How so?
Because it wasn't David who killed that like it was the God of the universe who said, I will take a boy and mock the giant who mocks me. All the stories of the Bible are that. It doesn't matter how great you think Abraham is. If you look at Abraham's life, he was like, if you look, you're like, whoa, how did he have the faith? How could he become the story of Isaac? Do you know what I mean? Well, look at his life. It was the invisible days, day in and day out. Do you know how many mistakes that dude made? I mean, how often did he made public mistakes where kings are like, you idiot, you made me look dumb. But God sustains his life. He fails and fails and fails and fails. And then by the time Abraham and Isaac happens, God already knew who he was. He knew what was going to happen. He knows, by that time, he's able to look at his son. Oof, how am I ever going to say this? He knows his life. The invisible days, how many times he failed. He had to talk to his wife, who he failed many times. But he knew. He looks at his son and he says, God will provide the lamb. Do you know, that story is about God. It's not about him. He was a fool 1,000,000 times. David was the man who would send out the other man to die because the story is about God and his life, and he knows it. He knows he's always to go back to being a shepherd and being in proximity of his Lord. Like those stories, every story is who God is and how he deals with humans, not how special the humans are. And it is a beautiful thing. But that's why, you know, I'm going to reframe my own thing. The one place where I'm like, I can't bear to lose. I cannot bear to lose is if I lose 1 degree of proximity to the God who loves me. And I've prayed and I'm like, Lord, if success in this place will take me 1 degree away from you, don't give it to me. It's too good. It's too good. And he has granted that wish on many, many occasions. But that's the only place where I'm like, oh, I hate to lose there. My proximity to the God who loves me and who will sit with me and teach me. And I take Jesus up on his promise. He abides in me and I will abide in him. And that is That is what I'm trying to just walk through, you know, as we have heroes, we have wins, we have losses, you know, we have conversations with friends and try to unpack a lot, you know.
There's something that you said that was like, it is always about like who God is. Even when he says like, if you have the faith of the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. It's not because the size of the faith it's about who the faith is in.
Yeah.
And even, I lost my thoughts of what I was going to say about that as well. Oh yeah, it was that when Jesus says that, I think it was Biden. He's like, because apart from me, you can do nothing. We're talking about the same scripture. It's like he says, you know, abide in me and I in you. Apart from me, like
John 15.
John, like apart from me, you can do nothing. And so I'm like, man, like, okay, that's what Jesus said. Meaning, it's infallible truth. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Okay. So what about the billionaire that doesn't know you? Like, he's counted as nothing? It was done apart from you. Oh, okay.
Was it?
What do you think?
I don't think.
You don't think?
No. I love talking about this. It's just another, like, that's common grace. Now, he may not apply it, and God may not be happy about it. But when the sun shines on anybody in this world, because that's what you must do. You must understand that God so loved the world so much that he does not let every bad thing that could possibly happen. In the same way that Jesus allowed men to spit on him, beat him, mock him. Those are the men he's dying for. He cries out at the end, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Are you kidding? Is that not the greatest thing ever said on the... I mean, what more staggering,